In today's video, we'll be talking about comedian John Mulaney, how he left his wife when he became successful, and why you should never build up a man. Lay back, get a snack, and I hope you enjoy the video.
All that work and what did it get me? Why did I do it?
So before I explain what building up a man is and why you shouldn't do it, let's give a quick recap of who John Mulaney is and what situation happened, and then we'll get into the video.
I hope John Mulaney knows how absolutely on site it is if I ever see him in person. I can never see this man's face without being reminded of what he did to his beautiful wife. If you look up the word Judas and pick me in the dictionary, this is the photo that's going to come up. I cannot stand her either. One of the most common comments that I get are people saying, well, it's not our fault that you chose bad men and now you're bitter towards men. Please do not get it twisted. I've chosen pretty decent men, in terms of, they're still men, but they're decent. The reason why I can't stand men is because John Mulaney was my favorite comedian and they betrayed me. In case you're new here, John Mulaney had a beautiful wife that he was married to for 8 years. Pre-showbiz, pre-fame, she held him down when he was nothing. There's a lesson here if you don't already see it coming. All of his specials is basically him saying, I do not want to have a child. I do not want to have a child. I have a wife. We are child free. We're so happy to be child free. I do not want children. I do not want children. I do not want children. They had a cute little dog named Petunia and they were happy with that. That was so much of his material is how much he did not want children. He gets Olivia Munn pregnant while he's still with his ex-wife. Leaves his ex-wife to go raise a child with Olivia Munn. And it breaks my heart. Anytime I see him, I think of her. I think of her and how she must feel when she sees these photos. Can you imagine being her and witnessing this? It makes my stomach crawl. If you have one hater, it's me. If you have no haters, I'm dead.
Y'all make sure to go follow her. She has really good takes. I'm gonna put her channel in the comment section. I'm gonna pin it as the first comment. So a lot of women have given this take about how you shouldn't build up a man and everything, but I want to explain why men do this, like why they leave you once you build them up and everything like that. First of all, I want to clarify that building up a man or building up a relationship is not like your husband gets sick and you stay with him, or your wife gets sick and you stay with her, or like how you go through the ups and downs of your relationship. Like that's common, that's normal, and that's a good thing. Like for you guys to bond together, overcome your challenges, and grow as a couple. That's amazing. That's beautiful. We love to see it. What we're talking about when building up a husband or building up a man, well, this is really gender neutral, just sounds better for a thumbnail. What I'm talking about when I say building up a man or building up anyone in a relationship is when your partner is basically a bum. Like they don't have a job, they don't have any career goals, and you're basically funding their lifestyle. You're basically doing all the domestic labor, you're cooking, you're cleaning, and you have a job, and they're not doing their part in a relationship. Or maybe they're doing their part and they're going to college while you do everything else. You shouldn't do that, in my opinion. Or let me add this caveat. You shouldn't be doing it if you're going to do it without a ring on your finger. I would say not do it at all, but some people would say it's fine, but okay. Anyway, the reason I want to talk about John Mulaney and their relationship is because he's the perfect example, because his ex-wife, hold on. Sorry if it's, I went and looked up her name because it felt weird just to refer to her as his ex-wife. Anna did everything right in the relationship. She was a ride or die for him. She was there through the ups and downs, his rehab, his recovery, his failed SNL career. I sound like a hater. His successful SNL career. She was there. She did everything right, and he still left. So if she doesn't have a good relationship where the guy leaves, what does that say about everyone else? I think it's a fundamental flaw that a lot of women have. What you have to understand is that a lot of guys, just because they date you, just because they're in a relationship, that doesn't mean that they like you. And this is really hard to explain unless you understand podcast bro culture or like how they view relationships in a transactional way, right? Again, these are not my words. You can listen to podcasters, you can listen to Passport Bros. They all say the same thing. Are perfectly fine with dating women that they don't like and that they don't even love, right? And the reason they do this is because they don't want to be alone with themselves. Like they want to have a girlfriend, but they can't, in the economy, this is their words, in the dating economy, they can't afford a girlfriend that they want to get. So when you're building up a man, you're basically building him up to replace you. If you pay for his college, if you pay off his car, if you help him go to college or whatever, you're raising his status in the dating market. Once he gets his new job, once he gets the new house, he's going to feel like he can leave you and get onto the girlfriend that he's going to marry, that he's going to love, that he's going to cherish. To get back to the John Mulaney thing, and I don't know, we're all speculating. A lot of people said, because I was reading Reddit, that she wanted kids and that he didn't, and he based a lot of his comedy around not wanting kids while she wanted them. I don't know if that's true, but that happens in a lot of these situations. Like guys will waste out a woman's years for like 8 years. They won't get married, they won't have kids, and then you both are like 32, 35, and then he'll be like, okay, I'm done. I'm 32, I'm 35, I have a successful business, I have a successful career. Okay, I'm gonna go marry that 25-year-old. I'm gonna go marry that 22-year-old. This is like a common thing that happens. This is a common thing in like dating red pill culture. And so a lot of women are in relationships where they're the filler girlfriend, like anime filler, where you're just like a placeholder. Like my friend called it the beginner wife. You're there while he suffers and struggles, and then when he gets better in life, he's going to leave.
This one is for all my women who think that once they fix someone, that they will eventually be rewarded. My wife changed my life, and now I'm thinking of leaving her. Me, 27 male, and my wife, 25 female, have been together for 7 years, married for 3. She's absolutely the best thing that happened to me, and if not for her, I would have been dead right now. I'm a recovered alcoholic, I come from a broken home, and when she met me, I was an absolute loser. She's always there for me. She supported me, helped me through addiction, and helped me become the man I am today. She made lots of sacrifices for me, including postponing school to support us in work, and moved to my country to be with me. But I wasn't always good to her. In fact, I was terrible the first 3 years. I was never physically or verbally, but I didn't treat her right. Then, the next 2, I was getting better, but I was still being dishonest about a lot of things, and I ended up hurting her. The last 2 years have been good. I finally dropped all the bad lying habits, changed my mindset, and started feeling better about myself, and got a good, high-paying job. And a house. Our relationship has never been better as well. However, we've been talking about having kids, and I started reconsidering everything. How am I going to be able to look at my kids knowing how I've treated their mother the first 5 years of our relationship? The past few months, I've been struggling with coming to terms with how I've treated her. I feel like every time I look at her, it's a reminder of the worst period of my life. I never had eyes for any other woman, but recently I've gotten a crush on someone whose name I don't even know. We work in different departments and we barely interact with each other, but she looks a lot like my wife. I find myself thinking about asking her out on a date and getting into a relationship with her. I've reflected on it, and I think it's because I just want something new, someone who didn't know me when I was in the lowest points of my life. I don't know what to do. I love my wife more than anything, but I'm really struggling with it. Now that we're in a good place, I just can't seem to come to terms with what I've done. Should I just leave her? Should I suck it up with her? Or should I keep it to myself and hope it goes away?
And I'm not even pandering. I give this advice to men all the time, like to guys I'm friends with. This is where you guys might disagree with me. I would never be a provider in a relationship, because if I lose my job and you leave me because I can't provide for you anymore, I'm gonna be heated. So I just don't want our relationship to begin on that framework. But on the reverse side, the girl's kind of the provider, right? Like, it's just a stupid relationship dynamic. But back to the point. This isn't even like a new modern age thing because of podcasts or whatever. If you remember in the 2000s, Kanye had the song where in the end he was like, and when he get on, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl. Like, that's a real thing. It's been a thing of like guys like struggling, a girl holding you down, and then when you get up, you leave her. Like, it's nothing new. And that's because this like idea of a transactional relationship, that women are trophies, that you have to grind to get a better trophy, is ingrained in a lot of dudes' minds because they don't want to be alone. And so they would rather just string along a girl who really cares for them. And that's why you have to get in your head. You can't do anything to make him love you, right? And that brings up to this one story about, do you guys remember the girl who gave the guy her kidney?
I donated my kidney to my boyfriend and he cheated on me, and this is that story. This all started in the beginning of 2015. So we met through mutual friends. He was really cute and outgoing and oh god, sorry. We would take turns making drives to see each other and hang out. And then early on he told me he had chronic kidney disease and Crohn's disease. So he had to connect to a machine every night to filter out his kidneys. At that time he was 27 and had it for 10 years. Just knowing that his kidney function was already below 5%, it made me have this urgency to help him. I didn't want to wait to, have his condition get worse, or he could have passed away too. In order to donate, you have to be in good health. They have to do tests to make sure your body can survive with just one kidney. And so I had to do a bunch of tests to see if I was a match. Probably around 3-4 months, going to his doctor and getting blood work done and a glucose test, different types of scans. And then in November, that's when I got the call. The doctors told me my body was ready to go and I was ready for surgery. So I was the one who chose the date to be May 23rd because 23 is my favorite number. I was born on December 23rd and Michael Jordan is my favorite player. So I was tempted to YouTube the procedure before just to get an idea what my body's gonna go through, but I didn't, and I'm glad I did. Surgery was pretty easy. They put me under anesthesia, so I was knocked out the whole time. Once I woke up, I just remember waking up to tubes in my mouth, and they tried feeding me, ice cubes, and I almost threw up. But other than that, I just went back to sleep, and it took me about 2 weeks to recover, to feel really grateful, and they cried a lot. It just felt great for the both of us. A few months after the surgery, my boyfriend went to a bachelor party in Vegas with some of his Christian friends. His best friend was getting married. He was texting me throughout the trip how much he didn't want to be there and how much he just wanted to read the Bible. And then I responded to him like, no, just enjoy yourself. You don't really go to Vegas too often, and you're with your friends. You don't have to go under dialysis anymore, so just have fun. I didn't think anything was going to happen in Vegas because he portrayed himself as a really religious man, and he stuck through his morals throughout the relationship, and so I thought this was just a regular weekend. On the Sunday that he was coming home, he came to my house unannounced, panic in his eyes and just pale, he looked really scared, and I was just confused on what happened. And then that's when he admitted to the cheating. He admitted to doing things with some of the bachelorette party. It's funny because those girls knew who I am, and I know one of them was a close friend to mine too, and I was just broken. And then after he came and confessed what he did, I had to go to work. I had to go to work at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. I was scheduled to work at the churro cart at Pixar Pier, and I really didn't want to cry in front of the guests. One of my coworkers knew something was wrong, and then he asked, "Are you okay?" And that triggered me. The tears just fell down my face, and I just couldn't stop crying. And then my lead let me go home for the night. I thought about it for a while, and I decided to try to make things work. Maybe he deserved another chance. Maybe we can work it out and make it happen for us. And after everything that happened, it definitely hurt my trust issues with him, and it was hard to trust again, especially when I thought he wouldn't do anything behind my back. It did lead to a lot of fighting and insecurities. We fought a lot about me not giving him enough trust, and it just felt repetitive. It really took a toll on our relationship. One day we were fighting about him resenting me of not being forgiving fast enough, and in the middle of the argument he wanted to stop and read the Bible together. I was like, no, can we kind of just talk like regular people? And that's when he just shut down and pretty much said oh, if God wanted us to be together, then he'll bring us back together in the end, and hung up. After he hung up on me, he blocked me on social media and just completely cut me out. I felt really hurt that he could just, throw me out of his life like that. I would work at Disneyland 5 days a week, and it was kind of hard to, keep that smile.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day. Peace.